Namaste and welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. You are in my kitchen. New York time right now is 10:13 p.m. And today it was one of those crazy days when I started out without any self-care. So I spent the most of my day sitting with a migraine, as you can probably tell by my face. So once I took my medication, I of course felt a little better, but dinner still needs to be made, right? So I have exactly 40 minutes to make, serve, and whatever. So I thought, let me just make a quick lentil tempering, and I'm going to show you a technique that you can do to any lentil, any dal, or any bean dish that you have. And if you do this, it's going to taste phenomenal. As an added bonus, I'm also going to make one more stir-fry dish, which means that in the time that it takes you to watch this video, you will have 2 dishes to put on your plate if you follow along, just like I am going to start right now. So not wasting any time, jumping right into it. Let me show you some of the things that I did before I stepped out for my errands. One of the quick things that I did was I actually boiled some pink lentils, which is masoor dal, with some salt and turmeric in my Instant Pot. And that's already been boiled. Now the stir-fry dish that I'm talking about making, I'm going to use a handful of string beans. These are fresh string beans, and 1 carrot. What I'm basically trying to do is I'm trying to make a desperate attempt to use this boiled potato that's been sitting in my fridge for a long time, and I really want to use it up, but just a potato by itself is not going to be any fun. So what I am going to do is to this vegetable mix, I'm going to add a little bit of salt and turmeric, and I'm going to stick it in my microwave for about, let's say, 4-5 minutes. So that's going to keep it crunchy, but it's also going to cook it to the point where if we combine it with the potatoes, it's going to work out really well. So this pan is going to be used for the stir fry. I'm going to start with this pan, and you can use a frying pan, you can use whatever you've got. We are going to make what is called a tadka or a tempering, and this technique, if you do for any of your lentil or bean dishes, I kid you not, it's going to taste good, right? So here I have half an onion that I'm going to use for this dish, and half I'm going to save for the stir fry. I have almost 3/4 of a really large tomato. I don't have any cilantro in my house today, so that's not happening. I have ginger garlic paste. I make this at home, and someone had actually asked for a recipe for it. If I get a chance, I'm going to do that one of these days. This is, again, the last few bits of some tomato puree that I have, which I'm going to be using. So the first thing to do, and traditionally dal temperings are made with ghee, because apparently it's really not that oily to put 1 tablespoon of ghee for an entire serving for a family, and it still makes your dal taste really, really good. But I'm using olive oil because my hubby is not a fan of ghee. So I'm just trying to teach you that if you have hot oil and you use any kind of seed, like a seed spice, right? So it could be cumin, it could be mustard, it could be fenugreek, it could be any of the seeds. Get the oil to be hot enough, put in some cumin seeds. This is a technique that you can use in any dal or lentil dish, right? Throw in your onions. Trust me, in the time that it takes for you to temper the dal, you can have your stir fry ready. And rice, of course, you can boil when you boil the dal in the Instant Pot. I have shown you videos where I've done pot cooking with my Instant Pot, and I've cooked 2 things at the same time. So let me know if you'd like to see one of those videos, and I'll probably either send you a link or do it again one of these days. Let me say a quick hello to everybody that's tuning in. I can't see you because my phone is kind of like up there, but if you want to say a quick hello, if you want to drop an emoji and say hi, let me know where you're tuning in from. That would be totally awesome. I feel like $1,000,000 because till the time that I had the migraine, my brain wasn't really working, but I had so much paperwork and accounting to do. I was busy with that all day. Okay, so now the interesting thing about making a tempering as opposed to a curry is that you do not, repeat, not want to brown the onions, right? I'm going to put in a little bit of ginger garlic. If you don't like heavy dal or heavy lentils, then you can totally avoid ginger garlic. So a good rule of thumb would be that if you're doing pulses or legumes like this, you can skip the ginger garlic. And if you're doing whole beans, like you're doing garbanzo or you're doing kidney beans or black beans or the black garbanzo beans, then add the ginger garlic. It definitely adds an extra dimension of flavor. Right? So at the same time, I'm also going to get some tempering going for the stir fry. I'm going to keep it extremely simple. Now this is more of a North Indian tempering that I'm showing you, and this is going to be more of a South Indian. For anything South Indian, you can certainly start out with a little bit of coconut oil, but I'm going to continue to use my olive oil because I told you, my buddy who lives in my house, Mr. M, does not like coconut oil, does not like ghee. He's very picky about that stuff. So once this oil heats up, we're going to start with another kind of seed. So that's the thing that infuses your oil with flavor. So you have to keep an eye on both these things. And if you have a 4-burner stove, there is no reason why you should only eat one dish, right? Okay, so we are going to put in some mustard seeds. The herb that's going to go in with the mustard seeds and it complements it beautifully is curry leaves. So if you have never had a taste of curry leaves, I think there is no substitute for it. It's like a peppery, citrusy, it's very hard to explain. It's like love. It's very hard to explain what love is. Very hard to explain what curry leaves are. So I'm going to keep stirring this from time to time. Those mustard seeds need to pop and crackle. Whenever you cook with mustard seeds, make sure they're popping and crackling so you know that they're well cooked. Otherwise, they can have a very bitter bite to it. All right, I'm going to say a quick hello to Jami, and I'm going to say a quick hello to Tim. Welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. All right, so the other half of the onion that I had saved, I'm actually going to go ahead and put it into my stir fry. And in this case, I'm not going to finely chop it. I'm just going to chop it coarsely, right? So I've sliced it. I really am trying to go for a different textural feel. That's the goal. I'm going to add a little bit of water here so that the spices, so that my ginger garlic does not burn. Also, this is my wok burner, so it's super duper high intensity. But then if you turn it down, then only half of it works. So we're going to give this a quick saute. To this also we will add ginger garlic, and you'll be surprised that just because this thing has the stir fry started out with curry leaves, it has a very different flavor profile compared to the dal tempering, because this started out with cumin seeds. So it's very interesting when you experiment in your kitchen. It's very interesting to see what you start out with and how those flavors actually build up eventually and what do they lead to, right? Okay, so I'm going to stir this. I don't need to make it any more brown than it already is. So we're not trying to caramelize the onions. We're not going for a curry. In goes the tomatoes. And you can use fresh tomatoes. You can use canned tomatoes, tomato puree, whatever you have on hand. I'm going to say a quick hello to Aditi Bhatia, who is joining me, and also Rebecca. Hello, hello. It's 10:22 New York time, so I don't like to cook alone, which is why I always get you guys in here. But thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to give this a quick stir. Time to check on this because I can smell something burning. Whenever you feel like your ginger garlic or spices are sticking to the bottom, add a little bit of water. It never killed anybody. It's certainly a healthier option to cook your spices and vegetables in water than to do an overdrive of ghee or butter or oil. Okay, so now my trick with anything that is tomatoey is to add salt to draw out all the moisture successfully. Now remember that my dal is already salted. I boiled it with salt and turmeric, so I don't want to overdo the salt. The other herb that I had sitting in my fridge, I'm going to add some coriander seed powder. This gives it a nice, like a nutty, earthy flavor. I'm also going to add some red pepper. If you don't have one of these, you're really missing out, because then you're bringing out your spices every single day and you're exposing them to high heat. If you don't have this, head over to queenscurrykitchen.com and grab one of these. It comes fully loaded with all the spices you need to make Indian food. All right, so I'm going to give this a stir. I'm also going to add some turmeric because I like color. Give it a stir. And let me bring your attention to the other herb that I had sitting in my fridge, and that is mint, right? Now, mint complements anything that's sour. It complements anything that's sweet. So you can actually make a sweet and sour dal tempering, because if you have mint in the fridge, you could totally use that to your advantage. Or you can just use it just by itself. If you're serving a raita, which is like a yogurt-based accompaniment to your meal, then you can put mint leaves in your raita and it really tastes bomb. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a couple of seconds to simmer till all the tomatoes are cooked. Now, I'm not trying to make a paste of it because this is not a curry base. This is just a dal tempering. So I'm not trying to make a paste of it, but I still want the tomatoes to be cooked out well. Okay, I'm going to say a quick hello to Sharon. I'm going to say a quick hello to Julia. Hello, hello. So many wonderful people tuning in. Ashish Mathur is tuning in from India. Good morning to you. Imagine starting your morning with dal chawal and vegetable stir fry. How exciting is that? So this lone potato who was getting very lonely in my fridge is probably going to be very happy today because he's going to get to hang out with vegetables. And I try to sneak in vegetables into every darn thing I make, but I just make sure that it tastes flavorful. And the way to add flavor is add your seed spices to the hot oil, infuse the oil, add ginger garlic as another layer of flavor. You can add bay leaves, you can add curry leaves, you can add mint leaves. All of those things add layers of flavor. So it's almost like dressing up in the cold. The more layers you have, the warmer you get. So if you're going for warmer curries or a warmer dish, add more layers of flavor. And if it's summertime and you're trying to eat light, then just keep your aromatics to just one main thing that dominates the taste. But in any case, it has to work very beautifully like a symphony orchestra. That's the best analogy that I can give you. All right, so I'm going to bring my attention back here. This potato is ready. Now, one quick tip about cooking with potatoes. Whenever you have a boiled potato, never cut it because that leaves your potatoes hard. So when you cook with a boiled potato, always crush it with your hands and drop it into your curry or your stir fry or whatever you're doing, right? Whenever you cut a boiled potato with a knife, it's going to become hard even after cooking, and it really tastes rather disgusting. I really do not like that mouthfeel. Okay, so that goes in. I'm going to do a quick wash of my hands. And in just a second, I will take the comments. I'm just trying to breeze through the process to show you how efficiently we can do this. So here's the vegetables that have been blanched. I am not going to give it an ice water bath because I'm going to dunk them right into this hot pan. But ideally, you totally could give it an ice water bath so that it will maintain the crunch and the color. Okay. I won't be using the liquid yet, but I won't be throwing it either. Because, you know, I like to tenderize my vegetables with water and steam instead of oil. So I'm going to scoop out these veggies from this pot. I will give this a quick stir. You can see there's barely any oil in this dish. So when you eat it, you taste the freshness of the vegetables, the crunchiness, but they're not raw. And the potatoes have a nice creamy contrast. The curry leaves, of course, lots of aroma there. One thing that really elevates your South Indian dishes over the top is actually Asafoetida. This is my absolute favorite. Also, if you don't eat ginger, garlic, or onions, or if you have IBS, or if you have a health condition that prevents you from eating acidic foods and you don't want to do an overdrive of onions and tomatoes in your food, use Asafoetida. It's great for flatulence. It's great for digestion. It can be a little intense, so it can take some getting used to. But if garlic and ginger had a baby without being garlic and ginger, it would taste like Asafoetida. So I'm going to bring you in closer. Into this, I'm also going to add my signature Southern Coastal Coconut Curry blend. And I keep it in my freezer in my box because I just use a lot of it. But you can get that on my website. It's the Coastal Coconut Curry blend. And it has a very, very signature South Indian flavor. It has about 17 spices that have been ground and roasted. roasted and ground, so that you can experience all the flavors without actually having to do the grinding and the roasting yourself, right? So really made the old-fashioned way. To this, I'm going to add some salt. Just about that much. And remember, because the potatoes are there, the starches always take up a little bit more salt than we want them to. Right? So that's that. I'm also going to add some black pepper to enhance the absorption of the turmeric. Also widely used in South Indian cooking is black pepper, because there's a lot of black pepper farming that happens down in the south of India. If you feel like adding a dry red chili, you can add it while you're tempering the hot oil. That works too. This could be a great filling for your samosa. It could be a great filling for your crepes. It could be a great filling for your sandwich. You can put it inside a wrap and eat that. I would also add some peanuts if I could, but my hubby does not like nuts in his food. I just tasted it for seasoning and it's perfect. I am going to add a little bit of water from here, just to put back a little moisture, because I'm not relying on the oil in any way. And that's pretty much it. It's done, right? So this tempering is going to get, I'm going to turn this off. This is going to get added to my dal right then and there. And then I'm going to snap. And then I'm going to make a mess on my stovetop, which I just did. Okay. So I'm going to add this to my dal. There you go. And this is a technique that you can do with black beans. You can do it with garbanzo beans, chickpeas, whatever you got, honey. Do this technique. Follow this tadka recipe. Follow this tempering or chaunk. It's going to give you some really good results. You will be pleased with, oh Lord, with the way it tastes. I don't like to add too much garam masala to my food, so I'm not going to add it at this stage. I will add some black pepper to my lentils, of course, because the turmeric went in and I want some black pepper along with that. I've turned off the stove. This is absolutely ready. So on days like this, when you really don't have a whole lot of time, but you still have to have a good homemade meal, this is one of the best things to do. And I'll teach you another quick trick. How do you know when your lentils are done, right? So when you pick up a ladle and drop it, come in closer. When you pick up a ladle and drop it, your liquid part of the lentil and the actual grain of the lentil should fall together. You see that? So that's how you know that your lentils are ready. You don't need to do anything to them anymore. Here is our stir fry. I'm going to top it with lots of cilantro. My husband's gonna bring some, and then I'm going to add some lemon juice. I have some hot rice that is already done. I can do a taste test on camera if you wish, and that's about it. So onto the dal, I'm going to add those mint leaves that I was holding on to right there. It's just nice and colorful. So try to go for all the herbs that you can have access to. Don't limit your palate and say that, oh, if I don't have this thing, I can't cook. I never let anything stop me. If I feel like making something, I'll find an alternative, but I'll get it done instead of, I'll figure it out. Like I'll do something. So I'm going to put the dal back to boil on my Instant Pot, and I'll probably put it on the sear setting so that it can simmer away for a couple of minutes, and it'll get done. Also, it's not super oily. So if you want to make an oil-free dal, how do you do that? Ooh, this phone does not want to sit still in one place. Okay, let me just quickly take a couple of comments that are coming my way. I appreciate that you guys are hanging out with me, interacting with me. It gets boring like cooking by myself, but because you're here, I'm never bored. I can always rely on you. Mwah! Love you for this. So Julie Alim is watching. Hello, Julie. Sharon Butler is also tuned in, and I have Melanie George, good morning. Melanie Jenga, so good morning. So I'm guessing you are probably across the pond somewhere and you're just waking up to this. So I hope that your day is blessed, and I hope that your day is productive, and I hope that you're able to put a good homemade meal on your table. That's my prayer for you. Also, Tim is tuning in. Of course, Tim is my biggest supporter. He is my biggest fan. What can I say? I cannot say enough good things about him. He's always encouraging me, always supporting me to go out there, and he's always praising my food. So thank you, Tim. I value and appreciate your support a great deal. I also have Pretty Mala, who is tuning in. So pretty hi. Nakma Morris is tuning in. So hello, big hellos, and warm welcome into my kitchen. I think we have come to the most important part of this, which is the taste test, right? So do you have a favorite dal? My favorite dal is the yellow dal. So if I feel like when I get really homesick and I can have a good yellow dal, I feel like I'm in heaven. So that's the way to my heart. But if you have another favorite dal, let me know which one it is, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and taste this dal. I feel like it does not need any more liquid because I'm going to serve it right away. But if you're going to let it sit for a while, you might need to add a little more water so that by the time you're ready to eat, the thickness would be exactly how you want it. And if you're serving it with roti, then you don't want it as watery. If you're serving it with rice, then of course you want it a little more soupy. If you're serving it like a soup, put the tempering and then run it in a hand blender, and that makes the perfect lentil soup. I am not kidding you. It's the best soup. Paula says, one day I want to taste your food. Yes, please. If you are in New York, then, feel free to hop on over. Come taste my food. Come to my house. Come to my kitchen. Come to my restaurant, or you can order the food delivery. Samples are always free on Tuesdays. Melanie says, dal is divine with some white rice. And oh my God, yes. Are you kidding me? Should I show you what pickles I have? Child, drop the mic. This is some good dal. And there's something very comforting about making the food right then and there and then eating it right away or serving it right away. You can actually taste the food. I'll tell you a quick tip about food that needs to go into the fridge. But first, let me show you a taste test of the potatoes and the vegetables, okay? Hold on. So I'm gonna pick, of course, potatoes because they're my favorite. So I'm gonna pick some carrots. I picked a carrot, I've picked a string bean, and I've picked a potato. Not because I made it. Seriously, not because I made it. But this actually tastes like the dosa filling. If you've ever gone to a South Indian restaurant and had those dosa crepes where they put in the filling and then they fold it over the potato, it literally tastes exactly like that. The only thing that it's missing is the heat, and I don't do heat, so I'm not crazy about it. The only thing I would add a little more of would probably be a little Asafoetida, but the seasoning has gone in. The vegetables are perfectly cooked. All I did was put them in the microwave for 4 minutes. Honey, you can do this, right? And if you have a third burner or fourth burner, you can always boil some rice. All of this can happen at the same time. If you have an Instapot, you don't have to babysit your food. And also you can actually make the tempering first, put in the raw legumes after washing, and then give it, I think I did manual setting for 7 minutes, and it works like a charm every time, especially for the legumes and the split lentils. It's the perfect time. I don't really use the bean setting for my split lentils. Let me quickly show you the pickles that I have at home, because someone just mentioned that they are the perfect accompaniment with dal. So let me show you quickly what I have. This is one of the pickles that I made most recently, and this is a carrot and cauliflower pickle made with vinegar, jaggery, which is kind of like a brown sugar but not processed, vinegar, jaggery, mustard seeds, and lots of ginger and garlic. So this is something that my mom makes, and then this is mustard oil. So it has a wasabi kind of a kick to it, but it's also got a sweet flavor. It's sweet and salty. So that's one pickle that I have going on. And this one, which I'm always sold out of, this is the green long hot pepper pickle. It's so flavorful, it's so pungent, and it's not spicy because I think by the time it sits in the vinegar and the mustard oil, it loses a lot of its heat, but it's just such a delicious thing. And I make batches every now and then, and before I can even keep anything for my house, it's always sold out. I'm happy that it sells out because I'm not a lover of heat and I don't eat mirchi ka achar. But I know people who have ordered it over and over again and they cannot get enough of it. Plus, I also make it the really old-fashioned way. So it has fennel seeds, mustard seeds, nigella seeds, yellow mustard seeds, black mustard seeds, nigella seeds, and cumin. And then I put sea salt in it, I put turmeric, I put red chili powder, and there you go. This is what it looks like, right? So this is the perfect accompaniment if you have a nice plate with dal and rice, a mound of rice, some dal, some dry vegetables that are stir-fried like this, and a little piece of achar, and maybe some yogurt on the side, and maybe a papad, you know, like the papadums that you get in the Indian store, in the Indian restaurants. When you go to the Indian restaurants, they serve you these little crisps that are the papadums. So, you know, these are all perfect accompaniments for a nice, cozy Indian meal. See how crisp they are? Yep. So that's what we're going to eat for dinner today. If you're just waking up, you're probably thinking, now I'm going to have to make this for lunch. This lady, why did she have to come on Facebook and tempt me like this? Now I have to eat dal and rice for lunch. Is that what you're thinking? Did I do that to you? Sorry, baby. Look, I'm only encouraging you to eat homemade food. It's not such a bad thing, right? And you'll probably say, oh, you're fast at it because you've been doing it for many years. But trust me, when I first started cooking food, I was a fresher too. I was a newbie, right? And when I got married into my husband's family was really the time when I actually started cooking food like every day. And his parents are from one different state, my parents from another state. So we have a totally different language that we speak. We have a totally different food culture. It's almost like coming from two different countries and trying to learn the culinary craft of another culture. So I had to learn very quickly. My mother-in-law, of course, was a fantastic teacher. So she taught me some very typical Sindhi dishes, which are very regional. But then I got better and I got faster because I was cooking for 9 people every single day of my life. And now here I am 23 years later. It doesn't really bother me to cook Indian food. But yeah, if I had to do like an Italian or a Greek or something, I would really have to get my books out. I would have to refer back and forth. But this is second nature to me. So I understand when your apprehension is coming from and you're like, well, easy for you to say, but I couldn't do it. Which is why I try to teach you the simplest technique. Just learn the technique. If you know the technique, you will be able to apply those techniques to any lentils, any legumes. And if you have any problems, you want to take a one-on-one class, head over to the website. All the information is on there. Take a class, get it together, give yourself the skills to make simple meals for yourself so that you're not reaching for the most unhealthy choices, right? So with that, I'm going to sign off because I have to wind up everything and put it into serving dishes. But the fact that you came and spent your time with me means the world to me. I'm going to quickly acknowledge some other people who I've missed. So I'm going to say a quick hello to Michael Nalini Naidu. And Melanie says potatoes are her favorite. I love potatoes. Oh my God, I cannot even tell you. I love them in any form. Jasmine Soni is watching. Hello, hello. And Shumona Chakraborty is also watching. So hello to everybody. Also, if it's morning for you, I hope you get out there and have a very, very productive day. If it's evening for you, I know you probably all have had dinner. Nobody's a late dinner eater like my darling husband. So get yourself a good night's rest. I will see you soon in the next one. If you like this video, if you'd like to follow anything, or if you have any questions, or you want me to make something that's trending or something that you always wondered about how to do that, send me a PM, send me a DM. Tell somebody about this page. Follow me so that every time I go live, you'll get notifications of when I'm online and we can again cook together, right? Rose is watching. Hello, Rose. How are you? What a beautiful name, Rose Flora. That means flower and flower. Wow, you have a beautiful name. Like so much beauty in one name, right? So yes, so all the beauty in this world is ours. We just need to reach our hand out. And it all starts here, right? So I pray that you will be blissful, you will be flavorful. Please be safe out there. Give my love to your family. And I will see you soon, real soon in the next one. If there's something that you like to see on this page, on this channel, reach out to me. Ask me like you would ask a friend, hey, can you teach me how to do this? Of course, I'll say yes. I will see you soon in the next one. Until then, take care. Goodbye. Oh, a song. Shit, how could I forget? Now I've gotten so used to singing for you, but sometimes I forget. Let's see, what song can I sing? I'm going to sing a Bollywood song. And it's about this girl who's dreaming about some Prince Charming that's gonna come and, sweep her off her feet. Of course, I was not singing this song because I was already married by the time this movie came out, but I thought it's a cute song. So the song goes, so the translation of the song is that the person that comes in my dreams and takes me away somewhere, tell him to show up and, you know, tell him to show his face and show up in front of me in my life, right? So the song goes like this. Mere khwabon mein jo aaye, aake mujhe chhed jaye, usse kaho kabhi samne to aaye, la 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 la. So if you've been dreaming about that special somebody after Valentine's Day, let it manifest, baby. Know that you are capable of love, but love yourself first. Don't do the stupid mistake that I did and started my day without any self-care and ended up with a migraine for 5 hours. So don't make that mistake, honey. Love yourself more. Body before business, body before everything, and self before service. So with that, I'm going to pack up. I'm going to say goodnight. I will see you soon in the next one. Be blissful, be flavorful, and be safe out there. Until next time, bye-bye. Namaste.